long before I ever sort of thought I'd ever get to play there, I would, you know, sort of getting interested in this music, and I would be searching for stuff on the internet and find all these incredible videos of amazing recreations of all this dance band music and, you know, hot jazz and stuff from the 20s and 30s. And then I was staggered when I realised they were being done in this country, and that I even, you know, had met and worked with some of the people involved. But really, it only became something kind of accessible to me because it was so far away, and I was still at college and didn't have a lot of money and everything to go there. When meeting yourself, and then through Julio meeting Josh and Andy, and I hosted Josh and Andy when they came to London one year, and then sort of made good friends with them, and from then on it became something that I was much more kind of aware of how it worked and what, you know, who was there and what went on, and I'd follow it more avidly on, you know, watching videos. And then what year would it have been? I think 2014. My good pal Nick Ward, who of course I hadn't met at that point, but was not able to go, so was, you know, luckily enough they sent for Borley, and I was able to go in and cover for Nick. And then amazingly, beautifully, you know, when he then was free again in more recent years, we've been able to do it together, which has been lovely, and we've become really good pals.
With a heart that was mellow, an all-rounded fellow was my gal child. No worries and troubles and cares, she was always willing to share. A wild sort of devil, but dead on the level, was my gal child.
The day of rehearsals that we have to have each year is actually one of the most fun days, because you get to hear all this music for the first time, or, you know, often for the first time, records that you've heard hundreds of times and you've loved for you know, years, decades, and finally you get to either play it or hear it played live in a room, and it's incredible. The very first year that I was there, I'd actually had a gig in London the night before. I think the first rehearsal was at something like 8:30 in the morning in Newcastle. So I didn't really plan it very well. I was still, you know, a bit new to all this. So I did my gig in London and got a night bus to King's Cross, a night train all the way up to Newcastle, arrived just in time, basically, having got a taxi from the station to the venue, having not really slept at all. And the first rehearsal I ever did there was Enrico doing his sort of early 30s Louis Armstrong thing. And we played that Chinatown, My Chinatown arrangement. They played about 300 BPM. The first 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and trying to play that, you know, with all these absolute heroes that I sort of watched on the internet so many times, having had no sleep. So that was quite a memory. Other great sets I've really enjoyed. I mean, anything where it's been Keith and Klaus. I mean, just being on stage with them when they're doing their thing, and it's just so entertaining. I'm almost so engaged in their sort of banter and their fantastic on stage repartee that sometimes I forget to read the music and and come in. All of the most sort of, you know, the real canon stuff, the stuff that everyone knows and loves, the real great stuff, you know, the Hot Fives and Bix and all that, Duke Ellington, all that stuff. Not only does everyone know it backwards, but it's been done far better than I could ever do it at Whitley Bay in previous years. So it's pointless, you know, revisiting that stuff. And one of the great things about Whitley Bay is that everyone has their own little niche interest of things they've found and dug up that they love particularly, either on their instrument or just, you know, somebody else who, an artist or a band or a, you know, even a little scene that they've found from back in the day that they're, you know, semi-obsessed with, that we can then bring and put on a little show of it and share it with everybody else. You know, some people might have heard of it, but perhaps not had the chance to play it live. So that was really what I've enjoyed. I mean, doing the Versatile 4 stuff, I mean, I'd been in love with that band for about a decade. And I'm kind of a bit of an evangelist for, you know, jazz, sort of early jazz, where ragtime becomes into jazz. Music in the cracks between genres, where it's morphing and evolving from one thing to the next.
What do you mean by loving somebody else when your love belongs to me? I found you when your kisses didn't have a taste, but now they got a flavor, must they go to waste? What do you mean by teaching somebody else all the things you learned from me? Just because I taught you how to roll your eyes, you don't have to run around and advertise. What do you mean by loving somebody else when your love belongs to me? loving somebody else when your love belongs to me. I found you when your kisses didn't have a taste, but now they got a flavour, must they go to waste? What do you mean by teaching somebody else all the things you learned from me? Just because a touch had for you eyes, you don't have to run around and advertise. What do you mean by loving somebody else when your love belongs to me? How's that?
You will always find me there on the Sunday tea time slot to watch Morten Gunnar Larsen doing his solo piano set, because that's become a bit of a tradition, I think, for quite a few of us, hasn't it? To sit behind him and just watch his hands. That's astonishing. But also seeing, like I mentioned before, people who have these real niche interests that they then bring to Whitley Bay to share with everyone, like watching Josh Duffy doing his Teddy Brown act, and Martin Wheatley playing Western Swing, and so many others. I can't think of them all, but yeah. October, early November, in a lot of ways, is kind of the highlight of a lot of our years, I think, and everything kind of for the months preceding that starts to build up. You start to think, you get your music arriving in the, emails clunking into the inbox with people with MP3s. Here's my set for this. Here's all your parts, and here's the set list we're going to play, and you start checking out all this music that I've never, a lot of it I've never heard before, and it's such a learning experience. And I feel that each time I do Whitley Bay, I learn so much from all these guys who are, some of them a lot older than me, some of them my age, but just a lot more knowledgeable and experienced than I am. And I go away from it each year feeling like I've gone up a massive notch in terms of knowledge and expertise. So apart from all the fun and the drinking and the hanging out and everything else, just the kick in the pants that I get every year to work harder and study more and research, and quite apart from seeing everybody, all the people from around the world. It's like a family that meets once a year. It's strange, but yeah, it will be sad, but hopefully we can tough it out, and we'll all be there again in 2021.